Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Josh
And Mia.
and today we're going to talk about no money down strategies,
Yep.
ways you can get started in property really quickly. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. We hope you enjoyed this video and let's get to it. First one, guys, is lease option agreements.
Yep.
So this actually may sound too good to be true, but essentially this is the premise. So you would negotiate with the landlord and agree a period of time where you can lease the property out for them. So this can be 1 or 2 years, can even be up to 15 to 20 years, depending on the terms that you guys come.
Yep. Up to you.
Yeah, exactly. And you would move forward accordingly by renting out the property for them. And of course, you can reap the benefits of receiving profits, of course, after the mortgage is all paid off.
Okay, guys, so a big thing about this is at the start, you're going to choose an agreed price to sell the property from the landlord to you at the end of your lease option term. So say if you agree a 15-year lease option, and you could agree at the end of that, you're going to buy it for £160,000. Now, here's the real good bit. At the end of this term, you could say, actually, I haven't been getting the returns I want. It hasn't been as profitable as I expected. I don't want to buy it and back out. But if you do want to buy it, the landlord is not allowed to back out of the agreement. They have to sell it to you on the agreed date for the agreed price. So really, it is all in your favour to work a really great deal for you. And another thing you could do to sweeten the deal for the landlord is when you're making the option agreement at the start, offer to give them a gesture amount per month. So this could be £100 per month of your profit, and this would just sweeten the deal for them and really help convince them to do this with you.
Exactly. And of course, guys, it's important to make sure that you're creating a win-win solution for both you and the landlord. You're not trying to mess them over. You could be helping out potentially a struggling landlord. So, of course, approach the situation with care and, of course, understanding. And if a win-win solution is made for both you and the investor, then it's happy days and things can run much more smoothly.
Yep, it's all about keeping your morals and thinking about how you would like to be treated, as we said before. If this is really, something that's going to do them down or mess them up, don't go ahead with it. You have to always think about the other person as well. And if you keep your morals in business, what goes around comes around. And if you put good out, good will come to you. So simple as that.
Yes. So guys, let's talk about the pros here.
Yeah.
So the first pro is that it's pretty much little to no money down at all.
Yeah.
So of course this can make your returns quite infinite and very good for yourself. Another pro as well, guys, is that you can actually become a landlord without having to apply for a mortgage, and of course this won't affect your credit score in any sort of way. So when moving forward, when you are buying more properties, it actually becomes easier. You are already entering the market with a lease option or two, so this will make life much easier for you when buying properties.
Yep, and like I said before, if the returns aren't as you wanted, it's not like you've bought a property and you're kind of stuck with it and have to think, how can I get rid of it? How can I change it up? If it hasn't worked out the way you wanted, then you can always say, no, I actually don't want to buy this. But remember, any returns you do make, because you've put basically no money in or little to none, your returns will be practically infinite. So this is a really good pro of a lease option agreement. However, the one negative would be if it is pretty much almost impossible to rent or you're not getting tenants, then you are stuck paying someone else's mortgage without an asset in your name. So this is always a risk you're going to want to take. But if I were you, I think the risk would be worth it if you've done your research.
Exactly.
Okay guys, the next strategy we can talk about is a joint venture. Now this can be a no money down strategy if you do it the right way, or the way to do it no money down. But basically it's when you're going to go into investing in a property with a co-investor. So say me and Josh were strangers, I had loads of property knowledge and time, I could go to him and say, look, you've got £100,000 to invest, I've got all the legwork and knowledge, let's co-invest together, do a joint venture. I get 30% of the profits, you get 70. So that's the way a joint venture with no money down could work. Okay guys, it's gonna be a really great way to become a landlord of a property without actually having to put any money in yourself. So for younger people or people starting to get on the ladder, this could be a great way to have property in your name.
So guys, of course, this will give you a lot of benefits when moving forward, such as gaining a more understanding of how the market actually works.
Definitely.
Building a relationship with other investors, and of course, that market knowledge will serve you really well when moving forward and investing in your own properties.
Yeah.
So this can be a great way, of course, to get started nice and quickly, and you don't obviously have to have that much capital if you're sharing that across with other investors as well.
Yep, and remember, any money you do make from it, so say if you went as a joint venture on a flip, you could take the money you get as your percent of the profit and then reinvest that into your own venture. So this could be a good way to get in with no money down, get the money out and officially get your own property.
The only negative, guys, is that if you don't like working with people, of course, then it'd probably be quite harder for you. And of course, if there isn't anybody to do joint ventures with as well, this can kind of, put you a couple of steps back as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is deal sourcing. This is a great way to get involved with no money down, and as we've mentioned before, this is what me and Josh do.
Yes.
So basically, you're going to find a great property, you're going to work out all the numbers, do the due diligence, meet the estate agents, meet the vendors, negotiate a price, package that all together and sell that to an investor. So you're really the flip of an estate agent. You're working on behalf of an investor, finding them great deals.
And guys, like Mia said, this is what we do.
Yeah. And
there are a lot of benefits in what we do. So one of them being that you get a lot of practice when finding properties.
Yeah.
So this gives you a lot of experience when finding your own property, makes life much easier. You know how to crunch numbers and all of that stuff. You also get a lot of contacts as well. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing this for nearly a year, and since we started, the amount of contacts that we've had has grown exponentially over time. And of course, it's a great way to really understand the market as well. You know what areas are giving you the best yield, the return on investments. So when you're doing deal sourcing for other investors, they might want property in X location, and because of your thorough research that you conducted in all of those areas, you're able to come to a better conclusion of where you would like to invest yourself.
Okay guys, so the next and last great strategy to get involved in property with no money down or very little money down is rent to rent. This is a fairly new strategy, and it's really, really great for you to take on the responsibilities of being a landlord if you have the time and commitment without actually having the money to buy a property yourself.
So of course, therefore guys, there is an option here to broach an existing landlord and of course strike an agreement with them.
Yeah.
So you essentially you want to be renting the rooms out individually, and as far as they're aware, you'll be renting out as a whole.
From them.
Okay, exactly. And you'll be renting out the rooms individually and of course reaping some profits from that.
Yep, so we all know a HMO makes more than a single let, so the way you make your profit is you rent it out from them as a whole and then you rent it out individually.
Exactly. So you might be thinking, why would a landlord want to do that? And there are many reasons why, so let's get into those right away.
So basically, if a landlord's just tired or they don't want to make the effort, then, agreeing with you that you will say, I will rent your house for a whole year, that gives them a stable, reliable income without them having to work to find new tenants. So it works for them as well as working for you. Basically, they've got a stable income. They don't have to worry. The landlord may not be bothered to install things like fire doors or the HMO regulations. So this is where the little money part of little to no money down comes in. You may have to install these yourself and make it HMO suitable. So things like that really work. And also, if a landlord is getting desperate and their rooms aren't being successfully rented, or they're not really sure what they're doing, they're not being successful at advertising, you could also step in here, and that's another reason why they would want to do a rent-to-rent strategy.
Exactly. So guys, one of the pros as well is that if you do not make the amount of money that you wanted to, you can walk away from the deal at the end of the rental period, so it's quite similar to a lease option agreement as well in that respect.
Yeah. And you know, instead of getting a mortgage on your own property, it's a much shorter repayment plan. So again, if things go a bit haywire, then you know you've only locked in for a year. It's not going to be the end of the world. So that's also a massive pro compared to a lease option where you could be locked into not getting the profit you wanted for 15 years. This is a much shorter repayment time. Okay guys, so on to the negatives. Obviously, as I said before, if the property doesn't already have the HMO regulations such as a fire door, smoke detectors, you are going to have to incur the cost and responsibility of inserting and installing these yourselves. So obviously that is a bit of a negative, but there you go.
Another one, guys, as well, is that unfortunately you won't be able to reap the benefits of capital appreciation. Yeah. Of course, you are just renting it out and collecting the profits from that. Yeah. So that is a slight negative, but not too bad at all. Another one, guys, as well, the landlord might decide to cancel that agreement that you had at the end of that rental period and just carrying renting it out as a HMO instead. Yeah. So of course it's not much protection in that sense.
And that might do you dirty a bit after installing the regulations.
Exactly. But you know, that's why it's important to make sure you establish a good relationship with that landlord.
Yeah, so another thing is if you don't have full occupancy rates in your HMO, you are obviously quite vulnerable to not making a profit, but this is why you research and make sure the property you're doing your rent-to-rent scheme in is reliable. As much research as you'd go into buying your own property, you want to make sure that's there to make sure you have the full occupancy rates to maximise your profits.
Exactly.
Okay guys, one last thing is it may take a little bit of time to find landlords who want to do this with you. So you might have to scout them out a little bit and do your work to find them, and it might be a kind of hard thing to broach at first, so this is going to take a little bit more work probably to start off than say buying a house yourself, but it is still a great way to get involved with no money.
So guys, thank you for watching today's video. We really hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also let us know in the comments if there's any kind of videos that you guys want to see a bit more. We really want to interact with you guys and know you guys some more, so definitely make sure you leave a comment in this one and let us know. Thank you for watching and take care.